Hello, I'm Jeremy, and today I'm going to be talking about a real-time puzzle game by the name of Nine Tiles Panic. This is put out by Oink Games. It comes in a bigger box than most of their games, even though this is still a small box by most game standards. It is designed by Jean-Claude Pellin and Jens Merkel, and the game plays in about 15 or 20 minutes, and it plays between 2 and 5 players. It scales pretty well between those player counts. It is a game where players are going to be arranging a city, arranging tiles that depict a city where aliens have invaded, and based on whatever condition cards come out each round, you'll be trying to solve a different puzzle using the same 9 tiles as other players. So there's a real-time speed element to the game, but you're also going to be considering how you could score the most points as you're putting your tiles together. I'll take a few minutes, show you the game, and then I'll come back, let you know what I think about it. Nine Tiles Panic is a chaotic real-time puzzle game in which players are going to thematically be working with the FBI to restore order to a chaotic town where the aliens have invaded. In practice, what that looks like is it's going to be a game played over a number of rounds. Depending on the number of players, you'll play to a certain point threshold, and each round, players are going to be given a set of 9 identical tiles. These are two-sided tiles that show various roads for the village as well as various symbols. Each player is going to get a set of those, and you'll put out 3 of these 26 objective cards each round. And you'll go over those with the players. So here we would want to have showing in our town at the end of the round the most boys, the city with the longest road, and then you'll pick one alien, and along the same road you'll count how many hamburgers are in front of that alien. You want to have the most of that. And then once all players understand the rules, you'll say go, and then players in real time will start assembling their tiles into a 3x3 grid. So these could be put out in essentially any rotational order, and they could be flipped over. Each tile has 2 sides. And what you want to do is you want to assemble your town so that it's going to meet these conditions, and then also meet the building restrictions, which are that essentially each road has to be connected to a road. So that's legal, but for example, this would not be legal because these roads would connect to white. Or the road goes off the edge. Those are essentially what your building restrictions are. So you might do something like that. This one could go here, maybe this one goes here, and maybe this one here. So that would be a valid city because every road either goes off the edge of the board, it's a 3x3 grid, or every road is connected internally. You have no loose roads dangling in between. Now this would not necessarily be one that would score, but I'll just show you how this would score based on what these conditions are. So once I'm done, like if I was satisfied with this, if I was the first player done, I would grab the number 1 token and I would flip this timer. Every player would have this much time, which is about 40 seconds or so, to complete their city. If they don't complete their city, or if a city is completed, or if you grab like this token and there's a mistake, so let's say I had this one like this, where this road connected to white, this would be an invalid city. I wouldn't be able to score any points for that round. Otherwise, every valid city is going to be able to score points for these 3 conditions. So once this timer runs out, if other players have grabbed those, then you'll go through each of these and evaluate them. So if this is a 3-player game, first place is going to be worth 3 points, second place is going to be worth 2 points, third place is going to be worth 1 point. In a 5-player game, first player is going to be worth 5 points, and so on. So here you'll say most boys. So on my board, I only have 1 boy. So even if I had 0 boys, as long as I had a valid city, I'd be able to get last place for that. And if there's a tie, you essentially are going to each score the position that you're in. Or I'm sorry, if there's a tie, the tiebreaker is this. I totally forgot about that. The tiebreaker is the number that you have. So whoever finished earlier breaks the tie among tied players. So most boys, I only have 1 boy. Maybe maybe yellow has 3 boys, they would get 3 points. Maybe orange has one boy that's third place, and then second place would be there. So you would just go through each of these like that. So this would be the longest road. So here I would have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 road. Maybe that's okay. I get a couple points for that. And then number of hamburgers in front of one alien. Here I have an alien, and I have 1, 2 hamburgers. That would be my best scoring hamburgers in front of aliens. And so once you've done the scoring for these 3 cards, you'll simply take these 3 cards out. People will put their tiles back into a stack, and then you'll reveal the next 3 cards to go into the next round. So it's really simple. It's just that each round you're going to be dealing with different variables, which will change up how you're going to score each round. So here we have most girls instead of most boys. Here we have the most adjacent tiles that have houses on them. And then here we have the most aliens that are on one road. One of the mechanisms that's in here is that sometimes you want to have the aliens either running towards an agent, or you want to have aliens in between agents, depending on what the various cards say. There's a relatively large amount of variety in here. Here you want to have both dogs with people, so the number of pairs that you could create. Here you just care that you have dogs, right? Here you want to have agents all along one road. So within these small number of variables that are on the tiles, you're going to have quite a few options for scoring. And that is pretty much how you're going to play 9 Tiles Panic. As soon as a player hits the threshold, so in a 3-player game, as soon as a player passes 15, at the end of that round, whoever has the most points is going to win. Okay, so that is 9 Tiles Panic, and this is a pretty charming, inoffensive little filler game. I think that it has really clear artwork, and those rules cards, even though you're going to be dealing with 3 new ones each round, they're very clearly laid out what they are expecting from you each game. So you'll always be able to explain it to players before you start, stacking and, reshuffling your tiles. So even though there's this real-time element, it's very rare that players are going to have rules questions that interrupt the real-time aspect of the game, which is, I think, important in a real-time game like this. I will say that the number of cards that are in here, there's, I think, 26. That does give you a lot of variety about what you're going to be looking at each round. And the game, it does not overstay its welcome. Even though you're playing to more and more points with more and more players, the number of points that you get for coming in first in a given category increase. So with 5 players each, you could score up to 15 points in a round, whereas with 2 players, you can only score up to 6 points in a round. So the fact that you're playing to a higher threshold of points doesn't really mean that the game is longer with more players, and that's good. I think that the number of rounds, which is probably about 3-4 rounds that you're going to be playing the game, is about the right amount of time that you want to play a game like this. I don't think this is a game that you're going to want to play over and over and over again. But it is a nice small box, so it works really well as a filler game, just something to pull out every once in a while and play. Iconography is clear, the rules are clear, the objective is clear, and I think that's a game that you could get into within a few minutes of just breaking out and teaching it to new players, and that's terrific. So I think it really hits the mark. Most of these real-time games, I feel like they really reward the player who's the fastest, and often it's going to be the same player who's the fastest at doing the task every time. This one, because of the competing scoring goals that you're going to have each round, even if somebody gets their city completed the quickest, they are still going to have to flip that timer and give you another 30 or 40 seconds to still work on your town. So it's very possible that you're going to put together a more efficient, higher scoring city because of that. So I think it does a good job of counteracting the fastest player always wins syndrome that hits a lot of games like this. So it is a game that I think if you're looking for this sort of chaotic real-time puzzle game, it's one that will probably appeal to you. It's one of the better games of this type. It's just that not everybody is going to latch on to this type of chaotic real-time game. So those are my thoughts on 9 Tiles Panic, and thank you for watching.